Welcome to The Scoop with Dukes. I'm your host, Phillip Dukes, a.k.a. Dukes The Scoop. Check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Dukes The Scoop. And please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you have not already become a member of the channel, hit the link in the description. $4.99, $9.99, doesn't matter. It allows you to support the channel on autopilot. In your sleep, you won't even know it's missing. We greatly appreciate it, and it keeps this content coming at you consistently. And, of course, this is an AU Scoop. And today, I got a really good friend of mine, the publisher and founder of Auburn Undercover on the 247 Sports Network, Mr. Ronnie Sanders himself. Ronnie, what's going on, big dog?
Good to be with you, Dukes. Appreciate you having me.
Man, I appreciate you. So, I consider you guys family. The first company that gave me a chance to actually be a quote-unquote journalist. And we took a family loss this a couple days ago with the loss of legendary Auburn writer Phillip Marshall. On Twitter, I went and talked about the stories where, Mr. Marshall would help me. And I just thought it was cool how, I was some guy who just, Keith Niebuhr's like, hey, this guy on Twitter has real info. Ronnie, you need to sign him, right?
Yeah.
And Phillip Marshall literally is like, I'm going to take him and mold him. Mm-hmm. And he was the last person I thought that would do that. Can you tell us about, I don't know, you guys had a very extensive relationship. Can you tell us about what was it in Mr. Marshall that allowed him to reach people wherever they were, whether they were the head coach, $1 billion booster, or a guy like me off Twitter? What was it about him that allowed to meet people where they were?
Phillip was just salt of the earth. He had been around. His dad was a legendary beat writer, covered Alabama. Phillip covered Auburn for 40 years. Don't have to excuse my dogs in here drinking water. But he was just a really, really good dude and a great reporter. When we started Auburn Undercover, first person we targeted, or when I started Auburn Undercover, first person my investors and I targeted was Phillip Marshall. First phone call we made, had a conversation, and he was working, I believe, at the Huntsville Times. And, he was a little bit hesitant, internet startup, all those things. And we finally convinced him, and he jumped on board, and it was rough. It was rough sledding there. You know how he was. He was kind of he could be crotchety, but he was funny, And so Phillip was an old newspaper guy, and I was an old. I had been working in coaching and politics, and the two of us together kind of felt our way around and figured it out, and. It took us a while. I remember we've been working together probably, 4 or 5 months. And I was in Charleston. Ellis Johnson was at the Citadel, and I was up there visiting him, visiting the staff, and was supposed to speak to the staff. And so I'm up there, and he calls me, and we get into it over the phone. Like I said, we didn't really know each other, and we're screaming at each other. I'm in a hotel room, and he's in Auburn, and we're screaming at each other over the phone. I get off the phone, and I think he's ready to quit, and I was ready for him to. And he wanted to go back to the newspaper business, but we waded through it and figured it out, and pretty soon we figured it out. We broke a bunch of stories, and he made Auburn Undercover what it is. It was kind of our vision together, and I give him a huge amount of credit. We wouldn't have had the success that we've had without Phillip, and he insisted on doing things the right way. And, I'm not sure who's going to edit my stories now.
Man.
He was one of a kind and a great friend and a great mentor. And, I'm certainly going to miss him. And the Auburn Undercover family is going to miss him, and the Auburn family is going to miss him. We did a tribute story after he passed away a couple of days ago, and some of the people that we got to weigh in, I would suggest, go over to Auburn Undercover and read it, and, look at some of the quotes that people gave us. And it will show you the depth and the impact that he had, not only on Auburn people, but on those that he knew personally.
Yeah, I think, as I call him, Mr. Marshall, with me being Phillip also, right, that was I was like, I'm going to call him Mr. Marshall. Mm-hmm. And it sometimes, like, even just you guys having to say, we got to call Dukes, because if you guys put Phillip in the group chat, Mr. Marshall be like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, no, we're talking to Dukes, right? And but Mr. Marshall was the type of guy who could spank you and you wouldn't feel no kind of way about it. Like, I never feel like if he checked me, I ain't never feel no kind of way. But
Mhm.
it was like he was never really checking me. He was like, I remember, man, one time, like my most fun story of Mr. Marshall was man, the whole Brian Harson stuff, and I get a scoop at like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I know he's getting ready to write his morning article, and I shoot him a text, and I'm like, hey, forgive me, but I just wanted you to have this when you write in the morning,
Mhm.
and he's like, let's talk. Now I don't, and I'm like, okay, hit you tomorrow. He was up, bro.
Oh, he's
Like
up.
he was up. It was 3 o'clock. We had an hour-long conversation at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he literally walked me through the people that he knew. I mean, it was phenomenal, and it's something that I'll never forget for him to spend that type of time. When being so busy and being such a legend, there are so many moments that people have with you. Like that's my biggest moment with him. Talk to me about a moment that you felt like Phillip shined the brightest at Auburn Undercover.
As a journalist, there were so many. I mean, we really kind of blew up as a site when Tuberville resigned.
Mm,
Flash was run off, and then the Chiswick hire, and Phillip broke Chiswick first. He reported that Chiswick was under serious consideration, and it was an issue when we broke the story that Auburn had hired Chiswick. We were part of ESPN then instead of 24/7, and
mm.
they wouldn't run the story. And they
Oh
told Phillip,
wow.
well, hey, you just got to prove yourself. Phillip's like, hey, hell, now I've been reporting here for 40 years. I don't need to prove myself to you. It was ESPN, but he took great offense, as he should
Right.
have.
Right.
But starting out there, we really blew up then.
Yeah.
He had a huge following. We brought over a bunch of those people. And I think we started out around first year or so we were at around 500 subscriptions that first year, and then the Chiswick stuff blew up, and then all of a sudden you got Cam Newton, and Phillip owned the story,
Right.
and it was just kind of one thing after another, and
Yeah. Yeah.
he owned it all the way through, and reported things that nobody else was reporting, and we just kind of built the site from there.
Yeah.
And then we were fortunate. We had a lot to cover.
Mhm.
We've
Yeah.
had we covered. I think let's see. We had the Chiswick hire. We had the Malzahn hire, um, Harson, Freeze. So we covered five coaching searches together. And he told me, he said, after Chiswick, he's like, well, this probably my last coaching search. He kept talking about he's going to retire every year, and I said, Phillip, just I said, don't worry about it. He's like, well, I want to work through my contract. I said, you work as long as you want to work. You don't need a contract.
I know that's right.
You can work as long as you want to work, and but he always did more than we ever asked him to do.
Yeah.
I always told him, hey, look, I think we agreed that he was going to write 3 or 4 columns a week, and he wrote something every day, at least one thing every day.
Man.
And he just unbelievable work ethic. Worked harder than any as hard or harder than anybody I've ever worked with. Was meticulous. Wanted to be right, and I remember very very few times that we were. I think once he reported a story that was wrong, and was very upset about it. And he apologized profusely, and it was right. It was right when he wrote it, and
Right.
put it up. And then, as you know, sometimes things change,
Right.
and things changed. He was very really upset about it. I'm like, Phillip, it was true when you wrote it,
Right.
But he was,
He
other than
cared.
that, yeah, he cared. He wanted to make sure it was right. He wanted to make sure our site was right. Um, he wanted to make sure the message board was properly monitored and didn't look like some of the others. And he made sure that the site was as good as it could be, and I always appreciated that, and I know the readers did too, and the users.
No, absolutely, man. Phillip Marshall, Auburn legend, man. Prayers up to his family, and we're gonna miss him, man. I know I am, especially. So, man, shout out to Mr. Marshall, man. Job well done, my brother. So,
Yeah, we're all gonna miss him, and my condolences to his family. His For those who don't know, the funeral for him will be Tuesday up in Decatur. We'll post something on the site here. In fact, I'm going to post it as soon as we get finished taping this. But it'll be Tuesday in Decatur at 2 o'clock. I think visitation will be 12 to 2 for those who want to come. And there'll be a number of different speakers at the Celebration of Life ceremony after that.
Man, thank you for that information, man. And I mean, we just talk about how fleeting life can be. Even 76 years seems so fast. I mean, even the times that the time that I've been knowing them since I graduated Auburn in '06. I've been knowing him, but I didn't know him. I knew who he was, and he's just been the guy. Um, when you think about your history in Auburn, what is it now from where you got when you got to Auburn to now? What's the biggest difference that you think in Auburn football from the time that you got there until now?
Hmm. When I got there, Bobby Louder was king.
Okay.
And now he's not. And for anybody who thinks that the old guard is pulling the strings, look at who the head football coach is. Okay. I mean, I can promise you that the powers that be in the past would not have hired a guy who was born in Russia, raised in New York, and graduated from Ohio State to coach Auburn. Now, right. Will this work? College football is in a different place now than it's ever been. It's more of a national game now than it's ever been, and NIL has changed everything. Will it work with Golesh? I mean, I don't know. You never know. I thought it would work with Freeze. I never thought it would work with Harsin. So we'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think he has certainly so far been impressed with Auburn, and I think he's, I think Auburn fans are a little bit nervous because of the losses on the roster.
Okay.
And look, would you like to hold on to Deuce Knight and Cam Coleman? Well, sure, absolutely, you would have. But Auburn hadn't won more than 5 games in 5 years, so those guys were on the roster. But whatever happened last year and the year before and the year before and the year before, it didn't work. And so, is it? I don't know. I know there were some locker room issues at some point. There usually are when you're not winning games. And so maybe I'm not sure exactly the chemistry. Maybe the locker room chemistry is better. Bringing in guys from USF that know his system and know him and know what his expectations are and know what his staff expects. I think that's really important. You look at what went on in Indiana; they won 11 games their first year. Do I think Auburn's going to win 11 games next year? No. Do I think Auburn can get to a bowl game? Yes. I think Auburn should have gotten to a bowl game this past year. I mean, if you look as discombobulated and dysfunctional it was on offense, Auburn still had a chance to win 9 or 10 games. And same thing the year before. So, again, Freeze's first year. How many games, did he have a chance to win? How many games did, over and over and over again? It's not just Freeze, but Harsin and even Gus. Auburn's lost a lot of games over the past several years that really, had plenty of chances to win and just didn't. There's no reason for Auburn to have 5 straight losing seasons.
What number of wins do you think shifts the trajectory and the goodwill of Auburn fans? Like right now, it's hard. Auburn is like that really pretty girlfriend that does whatever the hell she wants to do. It's like you want to love her so bad, but it's like every time you get ready to love her, she's doing something crazy. Right now, that's how as an Auburn fan, it kind of feels like, man, she keeps breaking my heart. How many wins does Auburn need in order for Auburn fans to start to trust again?
I think get to 7 this year. Okay. I think 7 is a realistic goal. Can you get to more? Yeah, I mean, it's a brutal schedule. I mean, this schedule this past year kind of set up for Auburn. This next season doesn't. It is a, not again for Auburn. It was, I don't want to say it was an easy schedule. It was an easier schedule last year. This next schedule is not, and so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I think 7 is a realistic goal. I'd put you at 7 and 5. You get to a bowl game, maybe you got a chance to win 8. But 8 and 5 year, I think is a realistic expectation. And you've got a really good quarterback coming in. You got a really good receiver coming in. You've got some good players that came from USF. Look, I think you've got 50-something new players on the roster.
Yeah, something crazy, yeah.
And so it's going to be a new team. and it's just a new day in college football. It should be fun to watch. It's not the college football we grew up with, though.
At all. So I'm gonna give you the magic wand, and you are the genie in college football. You grant any wish to yourself right now to fix college football. What would you do?
First thing you got to do is fix the calendar.
Okay.
I think that's the big thing, because now, I mean, even the coaching convention screwed up. I mean, you got coaching changes happening. You got Lane Kiffin leaving before the playoff. And again, we've had conversations about this on the Terry Bowden show and other podcasts that we do on Auburn Undercover. I just think you look at a guy like Kiffin. Nobody's saying that LSU and Florida and Auburn are not better jobs than Ole Miss, because they are. But you're at Ole Miss. You got a chance to play for a national championship. I mean, you're doing things there that nobody's ever done. Fine, you want to go to LSU. Okay, well maybe that's the perfect job for you.
Right.
But maybe it's not the perfect time to take it. And to leave a team in the middle of a playoff run in the best season in school history, and you just walk out on them,
that's crazy.
I have an issue with that. I really do, and I'm not, and I don't begrudge him for taking a job that he wanted or felt like he needed to take, and all those. I get it. Can you win more national championships at LSU than you can at Ole Miss? Well, obviously, absolutely. But there's a right way and a wrong way to do things. But I think the first thing, Dukes, is you got to fix the calendar. Whether it's fix recruiting. And the second thing is fix the maybe the first thing, fix the portal. And there are things that you can do. And I think you probably need to have a commissioner, whether it's a Nick Saban type figure, somebody that people will respect, some kind of a commissioner for college football to get things under control and have some kind of semblance of order, because right now it is complete and total chaos. And we're on the verge of killing the goose that laid the golden egg. It's as big a mess as it's ever been, but the product on the field is as good as it's ever been. But I can tell you that the fans, and I know for me, and I do this for a living, and you do too, but talking to fans, it is, yes, it's exciting in a lot of ways, the changes and for years, these brands have been vastly undervalued. But fans are used to following players for 3, 4, 5 years and knowing who's on the football team. When you got 50, 60 guys, and you deal with this at Colorado, because you cover them too.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough when you've got to roster 50, 60 guys and new guys in the locker room every year. It's just
absolutely.
And look, Golesh had no choice this year. Now he'll have a choice next year, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Golesh has the right personality. I had a pretty good conversation with him about 15 minutes, maybe about 2-3 weeks ago, and seems to be. I'm not sure where he ranks age-wise, but has there ever been a coach younger than him?
Terry Bowden was in his 30s.
Oh wow, okay.
I believe he was 38 when he got the Auburn job, I believe. Okay. So,
and Brian Harsin wasn't that old. I mean, he had maybe 44, maybe something like that.
Yeah, mid 40s, I believe. Right. He never should have ended up with a job though. But don't get me started on Mr. Potato Head.
No, don't do that, man. Man, I tell you what, it's interesting though. One thing I did like about Golesh was he really believes in process, but he doesn't put process over people. And he made sure that I understood that he's like, hey, look, Duke, I know how it looks. We're just meeting, but listen, I wanted to retain some of these guys. So it's not that I came in and I just gave everybody the boot. That's not what it is. And he wanted to make that clear. And I think even making concessions to say, hey, look, maybe we may have attacked a few things wrong initially, but we're going to adjust and we're going to fix it. So, I mean, on a conversational basis from somebody that you don't know from Sam, it's kind of like, all right, well, Sam, listen, I know for one, if he knows that there are certain people that he needs to get in contact with, I just talked to a high school coach in Atlanta that said Golesh called him instantly when he got the job. Like, and this is from a powerhouse school. And I just remember it was like pulling teeth with Coach Harsin. And he had his own way about it. But I think the similarities between them is that they both believed in process and they were like football junkies. But I think the difference is if you could have got Brian Harsin's football knowledge or acumen to have some semblance of recruiting with it, then it's a totally different ball game. But
or some semblance of, give a shit about Auburn. That's the other thing. I mean, if you're going to be at a place, at least act like you care. And that's as important at a place like Auburn as anything else. Because if you come in and look, say what you want to say. Golesh has come in and he has so far embraced Auburn. Hugh Freeze did a phenomenal job recruiting, putting a roster together, all those things, cleaning up a mess from Harsin, and it was a mess. Make no mistake. But they, I said since he got there, they don't really play with an edge. Golesh's teams play with an edge, and I personally, I mean, for me, I thought it was over for Freeze, and I didn't post it on the message board. I talked to some people about it, but I mean, to me, Freeze looked the A&M game. I think they called four runs to the backs, and he looked lost during the game. Just looked completely I thought it was over at that point, and it was. The wheels hadn't completely come off, but they were headed that way. So,
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that you don't understand why. It's almost like when a kicker, starts missing field goals or like a pitcher gets the yips, right? You just don't understand. It should work. You got the players. We've seen the scheme before. He was successful at Liberty. He beat power SEC teams while he was at Liberty. Why isn't this working? And it just never did. And now you've got a guy with some fresh blood, some fresh energy, and hopefully it goes in the way of the Tigers in the orange and blue this year. So, Ronnie, when will I see you again, my brother?
You tell me, Dukes.
Okay, good to know, man. So, look, man, for everybody, talk to us a little bit about Auburn Undercover while you're here.
Yeah, Auburn Undercover, we started in 2008, and we're still the market leader. We've broken a ton of stories over the years. And obviously right now we're mourning the loss of longtime columnist Phillip Marshall. And we've got full coverage of that. We'll have coverage of his funeral on Tuesday. And so we invite you to tune in and do that. We'll also have, obviously we got basketball, we got recruiting, we got, junior day to day, and we'll have all that covered as well. So we're running a subscription special now. So the work never stops over at Auburn Undercover. So check us out.
Yeah, and I don't think Mr. Marshall will have it any other way at all. So, man,
not at all. In fact, Nathan put up a story that Phillip always did on Sunday. His Sunday reflections from Auburn and beyond.
Oh, man,
we don't know what that's going to look like going forward. But Nathan did a nice job this morning remembering Phillip. So, we're going to figure it out we're going to wade through it as we. We're all sad and we're all dealing with it in our own ways, but we're going to try to help each other through it. And Dukes, I want to invite you come stop by on the message board and join us. And I know everybody'd love to hear from you.
Man, I appreciate it. And man, no place like home, right? So,
that's right.
Man, let me get off of here, man. Hey, man, listen, y'all. Man, one time I used to call him my uncle, man. Man, all right. Best story ever for me. All right, now I'll leave it at this. He was so damn cool, man. Look, okay. You remember when I first get the job? We had a basketball game. Harson's just getting there. I walk in and I got like 6. I'm on a recruiting visit and I'm working for Auburn Undercover. Jason Caldwell sees me and goes to F off. What is he doing? Such you can't be doing that. And I'm like, damn, did I lose my job? I think I ended up seeing you at the game. And we ended up sitting together. He's like, Dukes, that's not how you do journalism. Like, you got to figure out how to separate this stuff. And at the time, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, what the hell am I going to do? I pissed these folks off. And of all people, Mr. Marshall was like, oh, don't worry about that, Dukes. You'll be fine. He's like, don't worry about that. Did you get the story? Did you get the article? Like, what? And from that moment, I felt so comfortable talking to him because I'm like, well, I got these kids that I mentor and they wanted to come to Auburn. So I brought them all to the game and shoot. Because at the time, nobody was at junior day. I mean, I brought half the damn junior day. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, and Phillip was just, he as long as you wanted to do well and you always wanted to do well, he wanted to help, and,
right.
and he would give you the shirt off his back. Now, one thing he wouldn't give you was his story. And he would tell you, well, he would tell you, like, look, I'll give you the shirt off my back. I'll do whatever you want me to do, but I'm not giving you my story.
No, at all, man. And but the good part about Mr. Marshall was he was so high up. If you got one of his stories, I mean, you had to be in rarefied air. I mean, you lucked up on it almost, because the phone calls that he could make, none of us were making. And no disrespect to anybody. I think at the time, we had a good team at the time, too. It was Keith. I think, was
Jason.
Christian there yet? Jason?
Christian was not there yet. Christian replaced Keith, but we had Jason, we had Phillip,
Mark
Nathan, Murphy.
Yeah, boy, that was like the Avengers, dog. Like, that was crazy. But yeah, man, that's somebody I'll never forget. Well, guys, man, I appreciate you tuning in. We'll have Ronnie back on soon. Thank you, man. We're at almost at 16,500. We're approaching 16,500, which is a great number, especially after 12 months. So thank y'all for supporting. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the hype button, hype this video up so it can get in the algorithm. All right, man. Thank y'all. We appreciate you. We are out.